Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Alinga Sise and this is Alinga Sise Lifestyle. For all of you who have subscribed to my YouTube channel, I am so grateful. And for those who are still new, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. Let us make this channel to reach 1K subscribers and I'll be so grateful. Today I'm super excited because I want to share with you how you can start poultry farming at your home and become successful. Most of you think that when you want to start this project, you have to have a very big chunk of land. That is when you start this project. But I want to tell you that even within the home setting where you are staying or where you're renting, you can still start this project and become successful. And when we talk about poultry farming, there are different types of birds. We have the local birds and we have the exotic birds. And with the exotic birds, we have the layers and we have the improved local birds, or the croilers, the sassos, the canbros, name them. And also we have the broilers. And then when we talk about the local birds, we have the turkeys, we have the ducks, we have the chicken, we have the guinea fowls. And then I think that is all. So it depends on which one you want to start. And depends on the size of land where you're staying. Now, like for me here, I am doing majorly layers, but also I have the local birds, I have the turkeys, I have the ducks, and I have the chicken. But when you want to start this project from home and become successful, you first must identify the type of birds you want to start with. Do you want to start with the broilers or layers, or the improved local, or do you want to start with the local birds? And then after that, you'll have to know the measures you're going to take to make sure those birds don't get sick. Because you know, when you are at home like this, so many people always visit you at home. We have so many family members in our homes, and then it is sometimes very tricky to control some of these chicken diseases. Remember, this is a project that has so many diseases that when you don't protect your birds from these diseases, they will end up contracting the disease and you will end up not making any profit from this project. So that means when you're constructing the chicken house, there must be a measure of biosecurity. In front of your chicken house, you must put there some foot bath where you'll put a disinfectant. Whoever wants to enter that farm or inside the chicken house must disinfect their feet, because there is no way you're going to tell someone to disinfect their feet from the gate when they're entering your home. Sometimes to some people it sounds so weird. So that means you will not allow each and everyone to enter inside the poultry house. And then also you can decide to have those birds outside. Now for those who will do the local birds, but I've also seen nowadays so many farmers do cage the local birds. In fact, these birds, whichever condition you make them, you subject them to, they can stay in that condition so long as you're feeding them and so long as you're giving them drinking water. So if you've decided that you wanted a local birds and you want them to be in a semi-free range, now like mine, they're in a semi-free range, I decided to partition the land and I just put there the wire. I fenced it in a way that they always stay inside the wire. And also with the deep litter system, my layers typically stay inside the house, they don't come out. So make sure there is at least a way of biosecurity that will protect your birds from getting the chicken diseases. Then when we talk about the medication, there are two types of medication. We have the modern, using the modern medicines, or using the herbal remedies, which I am encouraging most farmers to take over, because you realize that these birds, you have to give them vitamins most of the time. You have to vaccinate the birds. You have to, if you're using the herbal remedies, you have to be consistent with the herbal remedies. Now, like for me here, I'm really so consistent with the herbal remedies. That is why my birds have been able to lay for 64 weeks and giving me a lot of good profits. And now that we are left with like 8 weeks to lay them off, still I am at 66.7% production. So that means my herbal remedies that I've been so consistent about is doing so well for the birds. And then for those who will do the vaccination, please, when you're bringing those birds, especially the exotic birds, make sure that you get the vaccination schedule from the person who is supplying you the birds, or the company that is supplying you with the birds. I received so many questions in my comment section, especially for my main channel, Alinga Sise. So many of you asking for my vaccination schedule. But it is always best to get that vaccination schedule from the company that is going to supply you with those day-old chicks. That is very, very good. So in that way, we will be able to follow that vaccination schedule very, very well. For those who are going to use the modern treatments or the synthetic drugs, but for those who are using the herbal remedies, please let us follow the herbal remedies the way I'm giving you in the main channel. In this channel, I haven't yet talked about so many herbal remedies, but at least in the main channel, Alinga Sise, we have over 300 videos talking about different treatments for different diseases in poultry farming with other herbal remedies. And then when you want your birds to perform super well and become successful also at home, make sure that you give these birds clean drinking water. So many of you, when you start this project from home, some of you have other jobs you do and you leave the work in the hands of people at home. Sometimes people become relaxed, okay, because this is it looks like a family thing. So most people become relaxed at home. So you realize that birds are not given clean drinking water, birds are not given enough feeds. Make sure you give the birds enough feeds at the right time, especially for the layers. When they start laying eggs, if you've said that you will be giving them feeds early in the morning by 6, make sure by 6 sharp you're giving them the feeds. And like for me here, I feed them twice, morning and afternoon. So in the afternoon still, make sure that you give them the feeds at the right time that you have decided that you will give these birds the feeds, especially when they start laying eggs. And with these exotic birds, especially the layers, they have different feeds that they feed on at different stages. Make sure that you give those feeds the way it is supposed to be given. When birds are still young, day old, up to 4 weeks, I normally give them the starter pellets for the 4 weeks. And then after that, I give them the growers mash, which basically I give the broilers feeds. So we also have the grower pellets, but normally I don't go for that because we all know it's very, very expensive, but it is very, very effective. So please, if we want to be successful with this project at home, let us give birds clean drinking water and enough feeds and the right feeds. And then when we come to the construction of the chicken house, please, the chicken house must be well constructed. The chicken house must be large enough, well ventilated. Let us not squeeze the birds inside there. You know, when we talk about starting the project at home, we want to have very many number of birds in a very small piece of land or in a very small chicken house. Make sure that you put these birds in the chicken house which is not too crowded, which is not too congested. Because when the chicken house is too crowded, that is also one way that birds contract so many chicken diseases, especially these respiratory diseases and the likes of diarrhea. Okay, so let us make sure that we don't overcrowd those birds. Use the small space that you have appropriately or accordingly. Put the right number of birds in the right chicken house. I normally say that let us put 4 birds, okay, 4 to 5 birds in 1 square meters, but I've realized some people go up to 7 or 8 birds in 1 square meters. I haven't yet tried that, but I would recommend at least 4 to 5 birds in 1 square meter. So let us not over congest these birds if we want to get some profits from this project. And then you know, when you're doing the project from home, you realize that it becomes sometimes we tend to we don't give a limit to the consumption of the chicken, of the eggs. Honestly, when you start the project and the birds start laying and you're not careful about how you're spending the money that you're getting from those eggs, about how you're consuming the eggs or how you're slaughtering the chicken, because most of us think that when we have the birds at home, we have to keep picking them and slaughtering them. Once you slaughter a layer bird that has just started laying, that layer bird that you have slaughtered, you've lost a lot of money. So please let us not think that when we have the project at home, it is also the one going to feed us. You have to look for another means of your feeding, because if you want to expand That's the only way you're going to expand. If you don't, because once these birds start laying, there are this particular period when they are very actively laying and you're getting some good profits. That is the chance you have to save the money to expand the farm, because time comes that they drop in production. Now, like mine, they have now dropped in production because now they are old and I'm soon selling them off. So you realize that during that time, there's no any big profit that you're getting. So when the birds are laying actively, that is the best time that you're going to use to save the money. Okay, that's the best time you're going to use to save the money. That's the best time you're going to utilize these birds, because if you also keep on slaughtering them, and even the family members, you realize that we have some family members that are not disciplined. When we are away, they just go inside the farm, get to the bird and come and slaughter. Once you slaughter a layer hen, honestly, you've lost a lot of money. So let us also be very careful about that. And then when we come to market, because someone will ask me, Alinga, you're talking about starting it at home. Where will I sell my eggs, or where will I sell my broiler meat? Make sure that you do enough market research. You talk to your neighbors, you talk to the shop owners, you talk to different people. By the time you're starting the project, at least you should have been able to establish the market. You should be able to know how much you will sell the eggs. You'll be able to know where will I sell my eggs, so that when the birds start laying eggs, or when the broilers reach the market weight, you're not stuck with those birds. And then the dropping is also another thing. With the chicken dropping, if you don't manage it well, most neighbors will end up complaining, especially for the broiler dropping. You realize that their dropping is always very wet, so it affects so many. Always neighbors are affected. So you have to make sure that the hygiene of your farm is at top notch, so that your neighbors do not complain about the smell of your farm. So in that way, at least you will be able to be successful in this project. Now we are going to go inside the chicken house and we feed our birds. See you right back. So for today, that is all I had for you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for always coming back. Thank you so much for loving me. But if you're still new, please let us subscribe to the channel. Let us make this channel to reach 1K subscribers, and I will be so grateful. And don't forget to tell me which country you're watching me from, and I will be smiling. See you next time. I love you all. Bye bye.